Well, good morning. I thought I might do a quick video today about the pros and cons of living in such a small space. Well, living in my van, basically. I've written a list of things down over the last couple of days on the computer and thought we'll tackle them today. Why not? So yeah, I've been living now in the van for almost 9 months, so I've got somewhat of an idea on what I'm talking about now, so I feel confident to say let's get into it. So one of the first and probably best parts about living in a tiny house or a van is you get to make home wherever you want it. So yeah, today I'm out at Wagga. I've been out here for 2 days. I'm just a little free campsite. It's a designated free campsite, so that's pretty cool. Tops to Wagga Council. That aside, obviously you've all seen the Instagram photos. You can have $1 million view whenever you want it, and obviously without having to pay for it. So you basically pull up and there you go. Doesn't always happen, but I tend to like a little bit more of the rural sort of communities to get a bit more of a homely touch to it, I guess you could say. Yeah, flexibility is awesome if your line of work allows for it. Being a photographer and content creator myself, I can work from wherever I need to be, so flexibility has been absolutely awesome. Also allows me to see, different parts of the country whenever I want it. So yeah, this one's a personal favourite. You can in some manners start each day as if you're on holidays. So I don't mean that in the sense that you wake up, you have a lazy morning and all that sort of stuff, and then you go out and spend the day doing touristy stuff. No, but definitely in the morning you get up, you get outside and you start making breakfast, and you sometimes have people walking past. They'll have a chat with you and have a discussion about your van, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that leads on to my next point of you get to meet so many people if you want to, of course. If you don't want to, then you close the van up and you stay inside, and nobody really bats an eyelid at you. It's for me, I'm just in a white cargo van, so I sort of blend in. But if you look a little bit closer, it's like, yeah, that is a camper van. So yeah, but I've met so many cool people while I've been in the van, so I've loved it. Yeah, some of them I believe will probably even watch this video. So hi everyone, thanks for following. Yeah, um, you get to escape, I guess you could say, as well. Like, aside from meeting people and waking up at a different location each morning, if you want to, of course, you can escape like the hustle and bustle of going to work, coming back to the same apartment or same house, looking at the same four walls day in day out. So there's sort of a sense of freedom in that aspect. If I've got a job coming up for that day, then I can drive there the night before, camp out 5-10 minutes away from it, and then the next morning I wake up and I'm 5 to 10 minutes away from work, and you can't argue with that. So that's brilliant. Minimalism. Now, I know a lot of people go on about how you can live a minimalist lifestyle. I tend not to. I've got a lot of stuff that I use every day. So at the moment, I've got I'm recording you on a GoPro that's sitting on a twin burner stove, and I've got all my batteries under here. I've got a freezer underneath you. I've got a blender and all my cooking gear underneath the bench, and then I've got over here food, clothes and general storage, along with another fridge. So it is minimalist in the sense that there's not a lot. Like, this would not fill a house, but there is still a lot of stuff in here. So it really depends on who you as a person are, I guess you could say. Yeah, the other one would be life balance. Now, this is sort of a 2 to 3 parts pro. It's you actually get. I find that between working at a time that I've got in the van, it balances out extremely well. So like, you might work for 6 to 8 hours in a day, and then you've still got, you've still got 20 hours. Oh, sorry, 16 hours a day, basically to do anything. Pardon me. So you can go for a walk. You can go out, take some photos. Or for me, I'd go and fly my drones, and yeah, it's a lot more of an active lifestyle than most people would realize. Um, yeah, like instead of walking around your house and thinking, oh, what am I gonna do today and all that sort of stuff, you get out, you go for a wander. You might have to wander to the toilet or something along those lines, or like even for me, like I go to the gym once or twice it's usually once every 2 days. I go to the gym, have a bit of a shower, have a bit of a workout. So I know that prior to living in the van, I had the gym membership, but I would only go maybe once a week if I was lucky, and that was basically if I was working nights. That they were basically the only times I would go to the gym. So yeah, we've got that. Another pro obviously would be off-grid living. So I'm not having to pay rent, mortgage, electricity rates, water, none of that. So because of the setup that I've got in the van, I can be completely self-reliant for power. Obviously, I do need to go and fill up my water containers, and obviously stock up with food. Generally once a week, but yeah, I don't like food's my main cost in the van. Surprisingly, even though I do a lot of driving, I only do maybe a tank every 8 to 10 days. So in reality, I was doing a tank a week every 5 days when I was living in a house. So yeah, it's a lot of a slower lifestyle, I guess you could say. Yeah, the only other benefit, I don't see too many people talking about this. I don't know why, but food shopping. Nobody told me that. Well, I didn't even realize when I went to do my first food shop for the van. I went into Woolies and I loaded up an entire trolley. I came out to the van to put all the plastic bags into the van. I'm like, I don't need to do this. I can load everything into the fridges and freezer while I'm still at the supermarket, and I can portion it all out easily. So that was a mind blow. I'm like, why didn't I do this sooner? But yeah, it's been amazing. I've loved it. It's people definitely have either one of two reactions to saying you're basically packing your van up with all the food. They either think, one, oh, that's so cool, you're going away camping for like a long time, or two, wow, you live in that. Yes, I do. That's usually the response, and that then follows on back to you get to meet new people. Even at shopping centres, people will walk up and be like, oh, can I check out your van? And yeah, it's absolutely awesome to see people's faces light up when they look inside and be like, this is awesome. And then you get talking, and they're like, oh, I wish I could do that. Well, you can. You can do this. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. Obviously, as you've seen, I did the fit out myself. Version 2 of this, so my dad helped me out with a few bits and pieces, but everything else was done by me. I have no woodworking experience. My background has been in technology, so definitely not a hands-on sort of person, but I'm happy to say I built this. I know it's not perfect. I know there's stuff that a professional would have done differently and all that sort of stuff, but I did it. I'm happy about that. So yeah, I'm sorry, but it's time to go down to the cons side of things now. So we'll just go scroll on down. But yeah, there we go. Alright, so one of the cons is finding somewhere to park that you can legally park. In New South Wales, we're pretty fortunate. Most of the areas that I go to, I can find a park relatively easily. If not, I generally will stop here to like the local police station and say, look, I'm in town for a couple of days. Is there any way that I can, park for free, or basically lay low where I won't get in trouble? 9 times out of 10, especially in the country areas, they'll be like, yeah, you've got a space just down the road that'd be perfect. And it's like brilliant. I use an app on my phone called WikiCamps. It's it's brilliant. I don't know what I'd do without it. I've actually had it for a long time. I never even thought when I began to do van lifing, I didn't even think to say, oh, use WikiCamps to find out a good place to park, because up until then I'd basically used it for forward driving and camping, basically just to find tracks and find campsites. Um, I think it was about a week into being in the van. I was parked up at a car park on the coast, and another guy that lives in his van, he pulled up and we got to talking, and I said, oh, how do you find places to park? And he said, WikiCamps. I'm like, really? WikiCamps? How about that? So I'll leave a link to it in the description below, but definitely check it out. It does cost money to buy it, but it's a one-off fee and is worth its weight in gold. um, yeah. That being said, sometimes I will have to research before I get to a location to see where I could possibly park up. So that it can be a pro, it can be a con. For me, I put it in the con just because it is a little bit of a hassle for some of the areas to find a place to park. Because obviously where I go, not a lot of people in vans that use WikiCamps will go through there and stop for a day or two. So yeah, if you see Aspie Mats reviewing on a place, then that's generally where I've stayed. So yeah. Um, Number two, this for me, it's not a bad thing. I'm happy to have this, but I know for some people they don't like it. They like a bit of privacy. But your home is literally on display to the public whenever you open the door, so people can see straight through from. If I open my tailgate up, people can see right through to the front driver's seat. So I don't mind it. It's a good conversation topic, but yeah. So I know some people are a little bit more private, so it's just something to be mindful of. That if if the house is a bit messy, then people will notice that and then be like, oh, okay, he's living a little bit like a slob. But most of the time, what they don't realise is it's such a small space, so one or two things out of place does make it look very messy. um, so yeah, um, finding facilities. Try to find a place that has toilets that are open um, into the evening, especially where I normally go, is very difficult. So you either have to plan similar to like Sheldon on the Big Bang Theory, where he has his what do you call it, his bathroom schedule. um, yeah, either have to plan where you're going, or get a porta potty and unload that every week or so. Um, I've got a little one under the bed just for emergencies. I've only had to use it once in the 9 months I've been in the van, so I can't argue with that too much. Yeah, shower, and you've got to find somewhere to shower, obviously, unless you've got a bigger van and you can shower in that, or if you've got a portable shower. I've got a portable cold shower under the bed, but we're coming into winter in Australia, so I don't use it as much. I basically use the Anytime Fitness membership that I've got, and basically go there to shower. The beauty with that is I can have, if I want to have a half-hour shower, I can have a half-hour shower. Don't recommend it, just purely because of water wastage, but if I want to, that facility is there. Yeah, the other downside is you've got to try and find a place to wash your clothes. Now, every now and again I'll stop in at mum and dad's place and I'll be able to put a load of washing on without having to pay, so that's brilliant. Thanks, mum and dad. But other times you have to find like a laundromat or something like that, and basically pay to have you to wash your clothes. So usually for me, for like what I go through in the week, it usually averages about $5 to $10 a week. to wash my clothes. So yeah, it's it's a pain, but it's the price that you pay, I guess. Um, yeah, there's the next one is sort of a double whammy. It's you've got to remember you're literally driving your house down the road, sharing it with other motorists. I say motorists instead of drivers because, well, let's face it, we've all seen the dash cam videos. So yeah, yeah, if somebody runs into your car or if your car sustains some mechanical fault, then you're basically parked there or wherever it's getting repaired until it is repaired completely. If it takes 2 days in the workshop, then you've got to find accommodation. And yeah, it's always fun. That's only happened to me once where I've had to find accommodation. That was recently when I was up at Foster when the car dropped all its guts. So yeah, it was not nice, but it's weird. On similarly on topic, it's weird when you go from being in such a small space. Like I haven't even measured how big a space this is, like in cubic meters, but it is a very small space. Like where you are at the moment, the camera is in my cooking area. I'm laying on my bed. From my bed, I've got about 70 centimeters worth of carpeted ground, or grassed ground, I guess you'd say. And then I've got another bench with storage underneath it. And then the front seat. That's it. So it's not very big. I think overall it's about 4.5 meters back here. So it's not a lot of room. So yeah. um, what else? That, like, obviously space can be a concern. For especially if you get claustrophobic. I personally love being in a smaller space. I don't enjoy being in a big room anymore. I find that it's too weird. It's like you're looking away and you're looking away and away and away all the way up to the ceiling, and that ceiling could only be 9 feet high. So like not exceptionally high, but because I'm so used to my ceiling being right here, it's so much further away when you're in a house. So yeah, I don't know how I'll go if and when I ever move back into a house, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, power concerns. Power concerns can be a legitimate concern, especially if you run like AGM batteries or anything else like that. For me, I've got 5 lithium batteries, so I'm pretty good. Like it's a very cloudy day outside today, and I'm only getting 1 amp of solar in, so it's very limiting. I know that both my fridges are pulling 4 amps, like combined, so it is a little bit of a concern, but it's not a major one. Um, yeah, so I know that if it's too cloudy tomorrow and I don't get ample enough sunlight by tomorrow afternoon, Thursday I'll basically be turning the van on and going for a bit of a drive around, which I was planning to do anyway. But yeah, oh, pardon me. Oh, I had a I had a smoothie this morning. I think I put a little bit too much honey and golden syrup and brown sugar in it, so excuse me for that. But yeah. Following on from power concerns, you've got storage. So people will often, especially when it's like your birthday or Christmas, people say, "Oh, what can I get you?" You literally have to say nothing. Please don't get me anything because it won't fit in the van. Because I can guarantee you, they'll buy something and you'll go to put it in the van and you'll be like, "I have nowhere to put it." And it'll sit out in the way of pretty much any time you want to do something in the van, it'll be there. So yeah, that's the hardest part is storage when people buy you stuff. I love people buying me stuff, but it's just at the point at the moment for me where I have to work out how do I store extra stuff when I've already only got a fixed amount of space. I can't create much more space than what I've got at the moment. Not without raising the bed back up and creating like 2 layers of drawers in there or something along those lines. So yeah, Um, Internet connectivity is another big one, especially if you work online. Um, so I'm with Telstra. I'm only with them purely because of the coverage that they have with their network. So I've said time and time again, especially when I've been out with my mate Lee and Crystal. Um, they've both lost internet reception. Lee was with Vodafone. I was with Telstra when we went out to Lightning Ridge, and I had full reception out there, which was very fortunate considering it's in the middle of nowhere. And Lee, unfortunately, I'm sorry, Lee, being on Vodafone, had absolutely no reception whatsoever, unless he was smack in the middle of town. And then I think he was getting 2 to 3 bars of 3G. So yeah, internet connectivity, it can be a concern, especially when it comes to me uploading videos to YouTube. I usually either have to find like a Telstra Air hotspot, or go to McDonald's or Bunnings or Officeworks, somewhere that offers free Wi-Fi. Um, so yeah, um, yeah, that's the main one. The other one that it's sort of in the back of my mind. I've only had it happen once, and that was actually yesterday. The day before. I got somebody knock on the van, and it was purely because I was parked in the car park waiting for somebody, and they thought I was trying to camp there illegally. So yeah, having somebody knock on the van, it is a bit of a joking experience, but yeah, it's only happened to me once. So yeah, but it's always in the back of your mind, when you go to bed. It's like, am I going to get a knock on the door? It's 2 o'clock in the morning saying you can't park here, or something along those lines. So yeah, it's it's always in the back of your mind. But after a couple of months, you sort of don't. It's not so much get over it, but it sort of becomes a lower concern. It's always going to be a concern, but yeah. So that's it. If you guys have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments below, and I will answer them as quickly and as honestly as I can. Anyway, thank you.